Hello everybody, welcome to episode 6 of the Digimon Pendulum Color Series. I don't know why I forgot it there for a second. My brain was having like a whole fart moment. But yeah, we are back again with the colors. And first, the bad news. These two died immediately. Yeah, fun part about the cold condition system. I guess I don't know if it was that part of it or whatever. These guys just die. Like, they won't even do call-outs anymore or whatever. They'll just end it. It's weird. I don't like the idea of it. It did give me traded eggs for them. I see they're inside the monitor or whatever, which, hey, is pretty cool and all. But I am not going to deal with these devices any much longer because, I'll be honest, not been a big fan of this. Sorry, y'all. I'm just really tired of the colors by this point. Yeah, I don't know. I'm done with these things. But, so we're going to turn them off. You just have to hold the C button. Go all the way down to power, and there you go. It just turns them off. Very nice feature. Good way to preserve battery and stuff like that. Hold the C, and it'll keep all my stuff saved, so I'm not worried. Those to the side. Let's talk about the only living one with... He's asleep. I forgot about that. But yeah, so we'll go down here. We'll wake him up because that's not going to do anything to bother him. And as you see, Mr. Triceramon here... Or, yeah, is it Triceramon? Yeah, it is. Is doing super well. I really actually like the colors of the sprite. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of a lot of the color designs for the whole, like, 8-bit line of colors they did for, like, the Digimon stuff. I like the ones they made, like, the new ones. But, like, you can also see, like, the old ones I've done. There's certain ones that look good from their transition to color. And then there's other ones that just look really bad, in my opinion. This one looks okay. Like, they did pretty decently. I'm okay with this one. Like, he looks good. They did the best they could. So, I'm not going to complain too much. But I do have the opinion that I don't think all the colors worked that well when they did swap over. But yep, this is the only guy I'm going to be continuing on with the run for right now. Because, I'll be honest, I'm ready to run a different device. I still have my major issues with the colors, and to be honest, sitting down and running them again makes me realize why I did take a break from doing YouTube after my original series of the colors. It's one of those things where it's like, I know I'm never going to like this device. I'll keep on trying to like it. I'll do my thing that I do probably each and every year where I give them a good old shot, and I'm like, hey, and then I realize, no, this is still not for me. For those who don't know what I'm talking about, I mentioned it in one of my past series or whatever, the idea of just constantly retrying an idea that you didn't like before. As long as it doesn't hurt you, I recommend giving things that you didn't like before a shot again. Because, hey, maybe you just missed out on something, or you just weren't in the right field of mind or whatever. So, that's what I do. Every once in a while, I'll sit down and try something that I didn't like before. For example, I keep trying to play the game The Last of Us, and I'm still not a fan of it. But each time I play it, I start understanding a little bit more what makes it a game that some people like or whatever. It's just one of those things where it's like, not a big fan. There has been actual good versions of this whole, like, hey, I tried something at a different point, and I realized I liked it. For example, when the original DMXs came out, I didn't like them at first. Was not a big fan of them at all. I liked my original VPET mechanics way more, but getting to the point where I, like, tried them again later on, realized it was just me being at a weird headspace at the time and stuff like that, and also just still me being a weird high school student with random drama and nonsense of that period. So coming back to it at a later point where I wasn't in that field, and I was past all the weird drama nonsense and things like that, and weird anxieties about having VPETs on me, it made for a lot more enjoyable experience. So now, like, a really big fan of the DMXs. I can sit down and run the version 1, version 2, and I don't own a version 3, sadly, but I have now sit down and enjoyed so many of the awesome DMX line, just because I was able to retry them. So that was one of the cooler little things about it. I can even say the same thing for, like, I'm trying to think. for like Sonic games and stuff like that, where I'll sit down and like replay them over and over again to see if like the ones I don't like, and I'm like, hey, I finally learned what I can enjoy out of it and what I can get out of it for myself. So far, I've not been able to find that sort of experience with the colors here. I see the pros of them still. Like, I've learned a lot more about what I do like about this device and what I still don't like about this device. My major con to me is still the evolution timer. It is so poorly made in this device. And I get the Evo timer was originally set for the DMX, but the DMX at least had assist features and stuff like that to get you along the way. Like, you had the random events throughout the day and had the whole, like, RNG dice factors, and you also even had, like, the whole, like, the dungeon areas were very long, so, like, they were much more longer and stuff like that, and it had more of a nice story progression to it. I don't know, there was a lot more in the DMX that made it seem worthwhile compared to these devices so far. Like, the whole build-up and, like, tension of the DMX worked a lot better in that sense. And the whole combat method in the DMX just made a lot more sense with how you could be able to tell what the grind was, and you could sit down and find out like the points of each of the Digimon and stuff like that, and you knew that going further along inside the DMX led to more points. On this device, you're just battling for the sake of battles, and you kind of could just sit there on the first zone and grind out battles. And even though that's not the best method of doing it sometimes, on this guy, we didn't have to worry about it too much because, well, since he started off with Starmon and then we Drogressed him, that meant he had to do all of his battles at the Triceramon level, which meant he got to decimate a bunch of Digimon very quickly. But going through those early areas was horrendous, I'll be honest about that. So, was not a big fan of trying to get through those earlier areas. This is a cool device in areas. Like, I really love the whole, like, backgrounds changing with time. I do love the whole little extra features of the backgrounds. So, like, for example, one of the cool unlockables we got from this was unlocking a new background recently, which, there you go, got a cool little background that's supposed to represent the little box art from the original Pendulums. So it was really cool to actually have, like, little references and stuff built into it. I just don't think all the references just work as well as they would in certain cases. Like, it is cool that I'm allowed to customize them in such cool ways, but, like, it's just, I'm not a fan of the whole, like, battle system, and just not a fan of the Evo timer, which I think those are, like, the biggest downfalls of these devices, is just those two features right there just totally, like, start killing it for me. Overall, though, we should be able to evolve for our next stage of evolution, and we'll be getting to the final one, so probably the next episode might be our final there. I'm going to see if I can I'm going to probably try to do one more episode where I at least get the last background, because there is one more background we haven't unlocked yet. We currently have the Stage 5 background, which was the weird, like, cool little background for the box art. There's still one more we haven't unlocked, so we'll be trying to aim for that. Hopefully he doesn't die before that, so hopefully we have that all set up nicely. If not, then, oh well. These devices are like a year old at this point. You could probably find any of the details online. And at this point, you can actually mod these devices to fix a lot of the issues in them. So that is something I can at least say for the color line, is that we now live in a point where you can fix a lot of the issues in these devices. Even I could sit down and fix them if I wanted to, and you can. But, like, on a base level, I still think Bandai should not have done some of the little gimmicks and stuff like that on these devices. I mean, these devices are, like, pricey, especially compared to, like, some of the Tamagotchi stuff out there, because, like, some of those Tamagotchis have way more features in them, and this has way less features in them. Just saying, like, I've been in the Tamagotchi color game as well, compared to the Digimon one. Like, seriously, like, look at these little things. Sorry, they're a bit dusty because they sat in a shelf thing. Okay. But, like, look at these guys. Like, this, they got the one button, but the screen right here is fully touchscreen. Like, that's a touch screen right there. I have my fingerprints on it. Like, you could touch the screen and it actually interacts with them. Like, that's super cool and everything. And you have, like, little features that come along with it, like the whole like dim card idea, and they actually use the dim cards properly in a whole little VPET setting here. So like Tamagotchis have done so many more interesting things at like a bit of a cheaper price. They still have a lot of the issues that I have with this device, with like the short Evo timers and stuff like that. But like, there's so much more going on in these devices, and there's such a like a wealth of content to go through. I don't feel as bad for Tamagotchi doing it, because hey, Tamagotchi at least got around it, and there's always a wealth of things to do. And they even improved upon it later on when they moved on towards the Uni with downloadable content online, so you could sit down and download stuff on the internet and just enjoy more of it. There's like DLC things to do if you get bored with the base set of features. Like, hey, and they even throw you some extra stuff to do at the beginning. So like, overall, I think Tamagotchi has done so many more things to use the technology of that I feel like Digimon hasn't done just yet. And I get we are finally moving past some of those points now with Digimon. Like, the next device, the Monster Hunter, is going to have like different type of sprites and stuff like that, and hopefully better audio mixing. I'm sorry about that, but for those who have not been around a Pendulum color, this probably has the worst audio of any Digimon. It is really screechy. Like, I'm not a fan of it. You at least can adjust it, but still, I'm not a big fan of this thing. Like, I usually put it at the middle one half the time. I just usually increase the sound for these videos. So, it's one of those things where it's like, there's a mix and match. There's so many cool ideas, and then there's so many bad ideas. I really hope that Bandai like sat down and looked at this device and learned from some of their mistakes with it. I don't know, I guess we'll see when we get our Monster Hunter and Godzilla devices, and hopefully that we live in a little bit of a longer Evo timer span at least. Like, I want at least some of the fixes for these devices. Like, I can't complain about the art idea anymore, because, like, they now have improved upon it with the Monster Hunter. So, I'm super excited about that. And then we get to probably see, like, and wonder what the Godzilla one will bring to the table once they actually show that one off later on. So, I don't know. I'm excited about it. I'm excited to see where the future of Digimon does take us. And for right now, we're going to keep on with this series for at least a little bit longer. Once Mr. Triceramon evolves, we're going to, in probably the next episode, try going through a lot of the ending of the tournament stuff. So hopefully y'all are ready for that, and for what would probably possibly be the final episode. So thank y'all for watching, and I do want to thank WARIO and stuff like that for doing this whole group patch. So make sure to go check out WARIO down below. We be tagging people, he usually tags a bunch of people that are in this group hatch, and I've also been tagging people in the group hatch. If you follow me on a different whole social media platform, well, if you follow me on Instagram, that's where I usually do the whole sharing, because a lot of people are on Instagram. Not many people are on BLUESKY, sadly, but on Instagram you can have see all the people I'm tagging that are part of the groups and stuff like that. So make sure to go check them out, and we'll be ready for the final episode next time. So get ready for Saber Leomon, because that should be what we are evolving into, which, yeah, weird evolution choice. Weird how they picked that, like, instead of making a new evolution for Triceramon or whatever. But oh well. See Saber Leomon, get ready for that whole fun there, and then we'll probably call it for there, go through our battles and stuff like that, and that's pretty much it. Thank y'all for watching, and I will see you all next time. And for those curious on like upcoming series ideas, I probably have one. I have one that I've been wanting to do for a little bit, so, well, back and forth on which one I'm wanting to do. I've been just wanting to do an Odd Pet series for a while now, so I think it's time for me to finally do one of those. So get ready for a device that isn't so mainstream. But yeah, that's pretty much it for right now. Thank y'all for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye bye. Whee!